Hey guys, how you doing? Good day, rescue enjoyers. Before I proceed with this video, would you consider hyping up my Twitch drop showcase? I know I've been talking about this recently, but if you watch me on your smartphone, you might notice like an option to decide here to hype it up. I'd be incredibly grateful. I put in quite a lot of time to make sure everything here looked spotless, make sure everything looked like very useful to you, getting all the best views, showcasing all the skins. If it had some sort of camouflage potential, I had to go ahead and showcase that. I'm sure you get the idea. I'd be incredibly grateful. Yeah, it's a pretty fat video, but I made sure you got the best view of everything. And I also showed you some nice combinations and whatnot, especially with like the tier 3 armor there. So if you've watched it all as well, thank you very much for that. And this is the reason why the predictions video is out on a Saturday instead. I just didn't have enough time to do the rust rotation and this and predictions. I was just like, ugh. So I decided to save it until today instead. We do have quite a lot to work with. We have 24 hours of sales to get a good look at, and I think we can probably distinguish what's potentially looking to be the best investment for this week and what potentially might have problems, as we normally would. So let's now hop over to here. The first 24 hours of sales, but let me also point out, I'm not doing the 48-hour analysis or anything. I'm not going to make, actual proper estimates in regards to how much each of these are going to likely sell by next week. I'll give you a rough estimate, but 48-hour analysis is where we're going to do a proper comparison. First 24 hours of sales, and I will mention this at the very least, Sinotype Sulfur sold even less compared to the armor box from the previous week. And I'm sure many of you are fully well aware that ended up being the second lowest selling Sinotype skin. Well, okay then, that's looking pretty interesting. Small Diesel, evidently, quite a lot of people are aware this is a growing collection. This appeared just after the fuel box, and you might recall this did just under 8,000 subscribers after the first 24 hours last week. And then you might recall that it's still quite a fair bit less compared to what we see here. Oh my. So this has sold 3,000 more in comparison to the fuel box from the previous week, but we are anticipating a third one. So if we do see the third one being accepted as well, that is looking very, very interesting. And I'm not surprised to see a lot of people have bought this, considering that, but also we don't actually have diesel boxes already in the game. So perhaps people actively wanted to buy it because, it's unique. Fair enough. But then there is a bit of a drop-off with all the other skins. Subscriber count, not very strong for all of them, but that's fine. If it doesn't sell that much, well, all the better for them to rise up in price in the future. So just reminding myself from the previous week, kind of similar. This did seem to be a bit more tamer compared to this week. If anything, they're kind of similar. So chances are this would be a quiet roster as well. But evidently these two do seem to be getting quite a decent bit of attention, but it is diminishing compared to the previous week. Okay, cool. So, right, let's go over to here then. Let's start yapping about all these skins. What would I say potentially is the best investment for this week? Well, it's going to be the Sinotype Sulfur, isn't it? I showcased this in my rust rotation video. It's fine. It's another Sinotype. Yes, this potentially could be the second lowest selling skin now. I do wonder though, as we get closer and closer to October, are we going to get 3 weeks of Halloween or just 2? Chances are it will be 3 weeks. Are we actually going to see this collection continue into November? If we do, okay, maybe we will round up with like 15 to 18 skins in total. But with all these newer skins, we're starting to see some problems. Lower sales. Some of the more recent ones have started to struggle as well. All 4 of these have slightly dipped below their rustle price. This one more so compared to most, of course. But Sinotype Sulfur, honestly, if you don't sell that much, and based on what I mentioned in my rust rotation video, if you go to Sulfur, you'll look at all the previous Sulfur storages we've had. They all look perfectly fine to a point. Yeah, X Point's a little bit different. That's very old and doesn't glow. But that's looking perfectly solid at $3. This is looking perfectly solid at about $4. This is looking perfectly solid at about $6. Like, Sulfur is appreciated. So I think, you know what, as time goes on, it will retain its value. It will do nicely. But we have said this basically of all the other Sinotype skins. If you respectfully look at it and say, you know what, it looks reliable, it looks okay, by all means, you can jump in, you can go invest into it. But of course, don't forget, this is abnormal. So you don't have to rush into buying it right now. You can wait. You could do the abnormal barters first. Perhaps after the abnormal barters, it doesn't look very confident. It doesn't look like it's going to actually retain value. So, all right, cool. Now, if you don't know what abnormal barters are, consider going over to my YouTube. As you'll see over to here, we recently did the abnormal barters with last week's skins. And I actually did buy some skins from the store. With last week's skins, I looked at the fuel box, yeah, the fuel small box in the previous week, and of course the armor box. I noticed they didn't really sell too much, and of course I was expecting continuations for both of them. I bought 30 small boxes for the fuel, and I bought 20 of the armor boxes, because I was incredibly surprised to see that armor box was going to be the second lowest selling skin at the whole Sinotype set. And I wouldn't have figured it out unless I did my abnormal barders. Both of them, well, rather, the armor box did have very good support, had lots of barders in. Unfortunately, the fuel box, it wasn't abnormal, but I could still tell that with the potential, it did look like it's going to work out quite nicely. So yes, consider giving this a good watch. Watch the first 5 minutes, scroll down to chapters, skip ahead to the barders chapter. You'll understand that abnormal barders, or rather abnormal skins, they become marketable before the roster even rotates. We do the barders, we then look at the amount of barders each skin has afterwards. We'll see how high the price goes with each barder, and then we truly figure out whether those skins are actually going to retain their value, if they actually have the interest. And then we talk about whether we, if we feel confident in actually wanting to buy the skins. As I said, I bought armor boxes, I bought fuel boxes. So that right there, it is looking perfectly fine. It's just, yeah, if it slightly dips, don't be surprised. If it barely goes up, don't be surprised. Wait until January time. That is where I truly believe we will notice an actual nice rise in price. So looking at the remaining skins, I think I will jump onto a small diesel box. There's a reason why people are buying it. Now, as I said, number one, most likely due to the fact that we are anticipating a third box now. I don't really know what to refer to this collection as, the small box collection, but as you'd notice, if you look at all the the images here, go to the very end, there's a nice little preview. There's the fuel box, there's the diesel box, number 1, number 2, what's here, the mystery box, number 3. There's some, cards there. I guess it might insinuate that we might be getting a card theme box, and we've never seen that before, have we? But there's another thing that you have to be aware of. I might need to make a video dedicated to talking about this. But with the fuel box being the very first one, it worked out perfectly fine for that. With the sequel, that went all the way up to about $7 yesterday. But then it's slowly gone down because more listings have appeared. But that is in a very good spot. If we get a third skin accepted, I think you could see that potentially go all the way up to $10. Now, that's just speculation at the moment. But you might remember a very similar type of behavior with a certain box over here. The more that appeared, the more people felt confident with this, and they jumped onto it. And at one point, it did go all the way up to $30. But small boxes aren't exactly like large boxes, and these don't glow in the dark. Just to remind you, these don't glow in the dark. But you can put them on shelves. You can definitely utilize space very nicely with these. We have had some storage small boxes collections in the past, but they don't really go up in price that much. So if I could just remind you from like a year ago, we had the base boxes, we had the supplementary neon storages. You might remember that. So if you can recall, with the base boxes, we have high quality metal base box, stone base box, sheet metal base box, and of course we had the wood base box. That was a set of 4. They didn't really hold up very well. That one's doing okay, but it did sell quite a fair bit less compared to the others. And then of course you might remember, we had the neon storages, the small boxes, but they sold ridiculously, and to this day they kind of struggle a bit. You might notice there, even though we have a neon small fuel storage at a much cheaper price compared to our brand new fuel storage, the brand new fuel storage is still doing very good at the moment, because it actively right now is a brand new collection. I wouldn't be surprised if this collection probably ends at about 4 or 5, and this is why I feel like I might need to go ahead and make a special video dedicated to talking about this. Small box collections are different compared to large box collections. So that right there, be careful. Yeah, this very likely will probably reach up to about 20,000 subscribers. Of course, it will sell more compared to, the fuel storage. But if we do see a third one, maybe it'll just be okay. Maybe this will behave exactly like this did. And this right here, I do believe it'll be going up even higher. Yes. But you never know. Could it just simply end at these 2 storages? That might be a bit of a problem. So we'll see how things turn out. And you've got to keep an eye out on this guy's workshop, because I'm pretty sure you'll be seeing the brand new box fairly soon. So if we do see the continuation, even better for that. That's why I feel like I had to mention it now. So in regards to all these other skins over here, well, what am I feeling confident in next? And I've got to be honest with you, with these remaining skins, I'm not really feeling that confident. Sorry to say. So as I look at all these other skins, I feel like I want to talk about the Brony Roadsign gloves. But I've got to mention this, and this is super handy to see. We're past 24 hours of the first, sales. Brony Roadsign gloves are already matched up to these skins right here, basically. This probably will reach up to about 10,000 subscribers by the end of its 7-day tenure. It will surpass the pants. It will surpass the hoodie. It's basically already surpassed the boots. But then again, these skins came out in 2018. This right here came out in 2025. 7 years later. But I have asked the skin creator, hey, Stabby, would you consider making tier 2, tier 3? We'll see what he says. But I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if the gloves go slightly below their rest price for a while. As time goes on, I could see it actually working out quite nicely as a nice long-term investment, potentially, all right? But if we do see the tier 2 or the tier 3, oh yeah, that's going up in price very nicely. And these don't even get me started. They'll go up to much more ridiculous prices. That hoodie right there at the moment is at $16? Yeah, it's about $16 at the moment. Ridiculous. So it looks interesting, but it has already sold a little bit too much, potentially, I guess you could say. But even in the grand scheme of things, if this goes all the way up to about 10,000 subscribers, it really isn't that much. But it's just quite a lot compared to this. So we'll see how things turn out. It's not abnormal, unfortunately. But we can still distinguish, or should we jump in and buy into it on Wednesday night next week, or should we just leave it and stick with a barter? We'll be able to get a good answer by the time we see the sales around that time. So looking at all the other remaining skins, it's getting tough. It is getting tough now. I've got to be honest with you. I am curious about the No Mercy M39. Clearly you can see it's not really selling that much. After what we saw with the Arctic Skull, perhaps a white M39 isn't like perfectly fine. It's not going to just instantly do all right. But it did also do almost 23,000 subscribers, which in the grand scheme of things isn't really a ton of sales, is it? But at the current rate of sales we're looking at here, this looks like it's going to definitely sell less compared to this. But this, of course, is selling at $3. Right now, this is barely $1. Is this actually going to work out quite all right with a lot less sales and a much more well-established collection? Well, not everything here is perfectly fine, is it? That's definitely a good questionable thing. But keep an eye on that. It might be pretty interesting. But I think that definitely will be a situation where we're going to stick with a buy order. And then we'll see how things pan out from there. So interesting, but I think we had to pace ourselves. I think a good thing to compare to is if we just quick look at the past. Do you remember the Redemption M39? $3? That did a respectable 13,700 subscribers. At the moment, this looks like it's going to do a little bit less. We'll see, okay? But for a while, this was comfortably in the positive by a bit. Well, you know, after suddenly seeing a whole lot more of these, yeah, it's kind of suffered a little bit, hasn't it? So, okay, cool. Keep an eye on that. Interesting, but it very likely will be a barter situation. Abnormal barter, because it's abnormal. Okay, so in regards to all these other skins, I think I will talk about the boots. It is not selling that much. The Gold Chains collection is a very, very strange collection. In fact, Skinlytics don't even realise there's more than this. We have leather gloves, we have Roadsign gloves, we have a backpack, we have, I can't even remember the other things. Perhaps we could probably see the collection here on Rust Help. And there you go, it does remember everything. The poncho, that was what I was thinking of. You don't see hoodie and pants. You don't see tier 2. You don't see tier 3. But I'll tell you right now, the skin creators did try. Could the boots, with a sheer lack of sales, work out perfectly fine all by themselves? I'm not sure. I mean, for a while the roadside gloves were doing okay. The leather gloves were doing okay. Do you reckon a lot of people out there will greatly appreciate this tiger design? Well, you know what? Perhaps the tiger collection would appreciate it. If I just quickly go over to here, type in tiger. Do you remember earlier this year we had the hoodie and pants, the tier 3? Where's that tiger collection? Is it the tiger? Let's see. It might not be the thing. Oh, there you go. Yep. It's not doing very good, but did you ever consider using the boots and the gloves from Gold Chains with this? Whatever happened to this as well? This is another collection that didn't get completed this year. Anyway, back over to here. These boots, I think it might be interesting to keep an eye out for, but again, it might be a barter type of situation. Maybe early offer $1, pick up some cheap listings, wait it out, and as time goes on, it might just end up flourishing. Slowly, though. I think it might be more of a long-term thing. And you never know. Maybe the skin creators will attempt again for Gold Chains, hoodie pants, tier 2 and tier 3. Maybe it gets accepted at some point in the future. Maybe a random complete the sets. We'll see. So, okay, fair enough. Now, with the remaining skins, I got to be honest with you, jacket kind of looks interesting. The collection, though, it's actually improving. I've noticed that. More skins are now in the green compared to the red. But it very likely, independently by itself, will most likely suffer. It's a grey design, and obviously if we were compared to the other jackets of, as of recent times, that's down a fair bit. That's down a fair bit. That's down a fair bit. All of these jackets are going down in price. Of course, January 2026 time, post-Christmas time, I would hope and like to see improvement. But I don't expect that much more for the Cyber collection. As in, what else could come out to give that a boost? Can't think of anything, unfortunately, because again, we basically got everything else accepted. So while this, whilst this appeared and caused all of this to have a nice bump in demand, bump in price. Sorry about that. I'm sure you get the idea. The sales aren't looking extravagant or ridiculous. Maybe that could help it out, but again, it might be a barter type of situation. All the recent jackets haven't gone like dramatically down in price, so maybe a decent barter could work out all right with this, because this is also abnormal. We can make use of that. So okay, cool. I would like to talk about the Oasis Furnace. But I will sit here and say a sheer lack of sales isn't going to save it. Because in the past, we have the large box right here when it loads, eventually. That might take a while. Okay, so for some reason, sometimes it gets a bit stuck. So let's go to here, back to Skinlytics. With the furnace, as you will see, recently we got the sheet metal double door, the large box, the sheet metal door, and the garage door. Now this only did 6,000 subscribers. And for a very long time, this was struggling. But I've just noticed, as you can see there, apparently it's gone up in price. Seems we've had a bit of a spike in demand and spike in price. So yeah, this is now sitting here at $3, but the bar does only go up to about $1.30. Yeah, look at that. So, okay, maybe we could see some more Oasis skins potentially in the future. We were kind of surprised to see the Oasis sheet metal double door being accepted and complete the sets. Skin creators felt reinvigorated. They made the furnace, got accepted. It's working even, it's working out even better now. Could we anticipate more? If we do, maybe the furnace might actually work out quite alright. But if you were to look at all the furnaces that came out this year, down a price, 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 scroll. Now we're down to 2024, down a price, down a price, down a price. That's slightly in the positive, down a price. Yes. Recent furnaces haven't been holding up very nicely. So that's a bit of a concern, yeah. Smart barter? Yeah, we'll do that. Barters first. This is not abnormal though, which is unfortunate, but yeah, it's not abnormal, so okay. Looking at the remaining skins, Thompson, you were okay, how do I say this properly? You are part of a weapon-only collection. And in most instances, weapon-only collections, unfortunately, they don't really hold up very nicely. As you can see right here, down 44, down 55, down 35. That Dominus Mortis MP5 has a lovely bit of transparency and it's still halved in price. But I am convinced, surely at some point, the skin creators would consider doing some like clothing and armour. Maybe some deplorables. I have definitely spoken to them about it, but I'm not sure if they listened. But Thompsons in general, they tend to perform better compared to most weapon skins, or rather weapons, I should say. But they're still not exactly holding up super great, which is unfortunate. So again, it's going to be another situation. We're going to do a buy order. And this is also not abnormal. So, okay. And now, with the final two weapon skins, I basically paired them up when I did my rush rotation. By all means, hop in, go watch the video, skip ahead to the chapter I talk about both of these and showcase them. They actually look very nice. They are perfectly fine looking skins. But all the recent double barrel shotguns, down 69, down 21, down 57, down 55, and down 65. Not looking good. So, not really looking super great, unfortunately, at the moment. Chameleon collection, though, that's not exactly looking stupendous either. So I'm a bit worried about the double barrel shotgun. I'm not surprised to see it's not sold that much, but perhaps with a sheer lack of sales, things could actually work out quite nicely. And that did happen quite some time back with a bamboo double barrel shotgun. It sold next to nothing, only 4,500 subscribers, and ended up actually working out quite alright, due to scarcity. However, that sold so little that even this has already surpassed that. That's already got 5,200 subscribers. Has a fairly decent chance going all the way up to 10,000. That is similar to some of the sales we've seen with some recent double barrel shotguns, so oh dear, oh dear. And with the AK-47, if you aren't fully well aware, we're getting two brand new Twitch Drop AK-47s. One's got an anime cat girl on it, and the other one's just a perfectly fine gold trimmed black AK-47 with stars all around it and whatnot. Like, it looks nice, and it's free. This coming out at this time, not good. Not great timing. It's not fair in that, but it is what it is. You might recall, quite some time back, we had this $3 Dragon Totem AK-47 come out. Just as we had 5 AK-47 Twitch drops come out. Look at it now. We recently just had the PTNT AK-47 come out, $2.49. Now it's basically halved in price. So you are selling the same price as this, and it looks cool, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see an attempt for Feral Raw collection, a nice interesting weapon collection, but no, sorry, it's going to go down in price like all the other AKs, mostly this year. Some of them have actually worked out quite right. As you can see here, Heatseeker, but of course, you know, there's a very, very in-demand collection behind it. And Sakura AK-47, bright pink and anime style, so yeah. So that's it. I'm not exactly feeling very confident with this week, but there's definitely some interesting things potentially ahead of us, and we need to figure out what's going on with this. Is it going to last until November? Will things be okay as we go through Halloween? 3 weeks without a Sinotype skin. Will people be able to manage? Right, anyway. Let's talk about some other things that we've noticed. So, of course, I am keeping track of all the new submissions. A whole lot more Halloween skins are appearing. Lovely looking stuff. And, of course, you can see the whole collection here. All the skins need to be submitted by October 7, 2025. I'm still wondering, though, is there going to be a focused item of the month as we go through October? AKA, will we see, like, Halloween-themed skins, whatever the focused item is? Personally, I'd love to see chairs and tables. That'd be cool. I think we could get some very cool looking scary tables and whatnot. I mean, we'll see. Halloween tends to get some very cool creative designs. Keep an eye out. This will be linked in the description. Speaking of Halloween, I've been keeping track of the commits, and I've just found out that we have got a good insight in regards to what the brand new wallpaper is going to be for Halloween. We found this out quite recently. I did mention it in my Rust Rotation video. Do you remember earlier this year, we got the special Lunar New Year wallpaper pack? We're getting a Halloween pack. And it's just mentioned right here, Halloween Bats wallpaper and Dia de los Muertos wallpaper. Day of the Dead. We're getting a very cool skeleton theme wallpaper. We're getting a very cool Halloween bat theme wallpaper. And as much as you might sit there and say, oh, I don't care, you might care about the Lunar New Year wallpaper pack because that came and went. Lunar New Year skins, they don't really tend to hold up their value very well, even the items. But this, to this day, is still $8. Sold for $8, still sells for $8 because people do like them. So, yeah. Oh, cool. Fair enough then. But yeah, be prepared. I think a lot of people are going to be jumping onto it. And I wouldn't be surprised if we probably see a Christmas pack as well. Still quite a ways away until December, but we are getting closer. And I will keep you informed if I see anything like that. I'm not sure how many wallpapers we're going to get, but don't forget we also have floor paper as well. So it's not only just for your walls, it's also for your floor. Maybe the ceiling as well. We'll see. But not sure what else we're going to see, so keep an eye out. Right. Twitch drops. So go to twitch.facebook.com. You'll see for yourselves when the event is about to take place, which is, you know, just in 18 hours time from now. Ooh. But of course, if you go over to here whilst the event is taking place, it'll also tell you how much time is left with the event. We have a lot of Twitch drops. 19 in total, with 2 special secret skins yet to be introduced. Some of you might know what it is, but don't reveal it. It's supposed to be a secret. Special things are going to happen during Rust Kingdoms 3. I do believe those secret Twitch drops will be appearing after something happens. Right? Keep an eye out. Now with the streamer skins, it's actually going to be very easy. It's just 1 hour this time, right? 14 streamer skins right there in front of you. But with all the people I've seen here, I do feel confident they definitely will be streaming a lot. A lot of the people here have streamed before for a previous event. Don't worry, it's not going to be like the awkward time last year. Anyway, we have a lovely selection of skins, but wouldn't you just want to get a good look at every single one of them? Well, if I were to just quickly hop over to here and maybe just point out that, oh, what did I show at the very beginning of the video? Yeah, there you go. So, I did put in quite a lot of time to showcase all these skins, but like I said, and like I mentioned at the very end of this video, I wanted to make sure that when you watch the video, you saw everything you needed to see. You got a good showcase. You got to see every single angle that you needed, and if some of those skins had camouflage potential, I made sure to test it out. All right, we've got a very, you can see it right there. We've got a very good looking sleeping bag. Doesn't glow. Great for the desert. Is it good for the forest as well? Ooh. you're going to need to watch the video. And that is actually chaptered. I do chapter the things where I go test out some things. The backpack as well. Haven't even made that much of a fuss about it, but it has invisible straps. Someone mentioned it to me. I looked and I was like, oh yeah, wow. I was so focused about the white backpack, I didn't even notice it doesn't even have straps. Well, there you go. So to get a good look at all those brand new Twitch drops, I've made that video for you. Plenty of chapters to skip ahead. If a certain skin has caught your eye, well, there you go. So you get the idea. And of course, I do have to mention this. Very strangely, the handmade LMG and the bed, their UVs, they got updated. And I'm not sure why, but I'm sure you might notice, or you might have recall, that we recently have been talking about brand new Skinnables. Keep an eye on the commits. I will say this, and it's all speculation, by the way. This is me just speculating. I reckon at some point next year, they're going to probably introduce a brand new batch of brand new Skinnables. Perhaps the SKS or the chainsaw, who knows? But they keep asking us about this, and early next month, in early October, I bet you they ask us again. Keep an eye on the Playrust Twitter, something's cooking. And of course, it's already got the advertisement out for all the Twitch drops. So I think I've basically said everything that needs to be talked about. Best of luck with you and chasing after all those brand new Twitch drops. I'll have some short videos out over the course of this weekend showcasing them as well. And don't forget, keep an eye on the workshop. You never know what brand new things might appear. Will we see a continuation for Brony? Will Stabby do it? Will he do it? Are people asking? Are people asking him? Let's find out. I bet people really do want it. Stabby's a little bit unsure though. He thinks you can't do it because he thinks it's a complete the set skin. I told him no, complete the set's already happened. It's up to him. It's up to him. We'll just have to wait and see. Thank you very much for watching the video. Greatly appreciate it. Best of luck to all of you. Best of luck with all of your investments. Sorry about it's a bit late. I apologise, but anyway, thank you. Bye.